Welcome to Value Vest Daily. Okay, let me ask you something. What if you could live to be 150, but in perfect health? I know it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But the longevity revolution is actually happening right now, and it's creating one of the biggest, most world-changing investment opportunities we'll see in the next 20 years. And we're not just talking about healthcare here. This is about totally rewriting the rules of aging itself, and it's being backed by billions of dollars and some of the smartest people on the entire planet. So let's dive in. To really get a sense of the sheer scale of what we're talking about, just look at this number. The global longevity market is on track to hit an absolutely staggering $600 billion by 2030. This isn't some tiny niche market. No way. This is a financial juggernaut in the making. And believe it or not, we are just getting started. So what in the world is driving a number that big? Well, it all comes down to a massive shift in how we think about medicine. For, basically all of human history, medicine has been about sick care. We wait until something goes wrong, until we get a disease, and then we try to fix it. The future, the thing that's driving this revolution, is all about Healthspan. The goal is to add healthy, vibrant, active years to our lives by getting ahead of the problem and preventing the aging process itself. This brings us to the real heart of this new war on aging. And look, the goal here isn't some fantasy about living forever. It's a very real, scientific objective with a name that sounds, well, pretty powerful. That objective is called escape velocity, and it's a brilliant concept. It's not about finding one single magic pill that makes you immortal. Instead, it's this strategic, step-by-step process. Science aims to add, say, one healthy year to your life. That 1 year gives you just enough time to be around for the next breakthrough, which might add another 5 years, and so on. It's like a compounding of life, all powered by the compounding of scientific progress.
And if you're looking at this from an investor's point of view, this right here is the ultimate bull case. The total addressable market, the TAM, it isn't a specific country or a certain age group. It is every single person on Earth. The demand for a longer, healthier life is completely universal, which makes the potential for this whole sector, well, it's almost limitless.
Okay, so the big question is, how is any of this actually possible? Well, it's happening because two revolutionary technologies have collided, creating this powerful new field we call tech bio. Let's take a look at the toolkit. First up, we have CRISPR. Now, you can basically think of it as molecular scissors for our DNA. See, if your DNA is the instruction manual for your body, it can develop typos and errors over time. What CRISPR does is act like a word processor, literally going in, finding those genetic mistakes that cause disease and aging, and fixing them. It can even be used to remove what scientists call zombie cells, these old damaged cells that just hang around and cause inflammation, speeding up aging. Pretty amazing. Now, the second piece of this puzzle is artificial intelligence, and honestly, its impact is just stunning. The old way of discovering a new drug, it could take up to 15 years and cost billions of dollars. AI has absolutely crushed that timeline, down to as little as 2 years. It does this by simulating billions of chemical interactions on a computer, identifying the most promising longevity molecules before a single dollar is even spent in a real lab. And here's a really crucial point for investors. This AI-powered biological revolution needs an insane amount of computing power. That's what makes companies like NVIDIA the picks and shovels play in this whole space. They're the ones building the hidden infrastructure, the powerful GPUs and supercomputers that allows all this biocompute to happen in the first place. So how does all this incredible science translate into actual investment opportunities? Well, let's take a look at some of the key players, the companies that are right on the frontier of this race. This gives us a really great snapshot. You've got CRISPR Therapeutics, often called the king of gene editing, and for good reason, they were the very first to get a CRISPR-based therapy approved, which is a massive advantage. Then you have Intellia, which is a pioneer in what's called in vivo editing. That means they're developing treatments that can be delivered right into the body to fix genes on the spot, a true one-and-done therapy. Recursion is kind of like the Google for drugs, using AI and robotics to map biology and find drug targets at unbelievable speeds. And then there's Beam Therapeutics, which is working on what some call CRISPR 2.0 or base editing. It's like upgrading from a word processor to a surgeon's scalpel. It can change a single letter of DNA, making it incredibly precise and potentially much safer. And if we zoom in just on the gene editing leaders, you can see CRISPR Therapeutics, ticker CRSP, is the current heavyweight with a market cap around $10 billion. Intellia, ticker NTLA, is about half that size right now. But their work in vivo editing, well, that could be a total game changer, potentially letting them treat a much wider range of diseases tied to aging. And then, of course, you have the billionaire's bet. You know things are getting serious when Jeff Bezos gets involved. He's poured a ton of money into a private company called Altos Labs. Their whole focus is on cellular reprogramming, basically trying to find a way to hit the reset button on old cells and make them young again. Now, you can't buy shares in it, but its existence is a huge signal of just how seriously the world's wealthiest people are taking this entire field.
Now, before anyone gets too carried away and puts their life savings into one of these stocks, we have to talk about the reality of investing on the cutting edge. This is absolutely a high-risk, high-reward sector, and it is crucial you understand exactly what you're getting into.
This number says it all, 90%. That is the historical failure rate for new drugs in clinical trials. A brilliant idea in a lab can fail for a dozen different reasons before it ever gets to a single patient. This is the cold, hard reality that grounds all of the hype.
And on top of that staggering failure rate, there are other major risks. You've got regulators like the FDA who have a very high bar for safety and effectiveness, so delays are common. There are huge ethical questions about access and inequality that could cause public backlash. And as you'd probably guess, these stocks are incredibly volatile. A single piece of news from one clinical trial can send a stock soaring or crash. So how on earth does an investor navigate this? Well, the key word is diversification. Instead of trying to pick the one winner, you can consider ETFs like RKG or XBI. These are funds that hold a whole basket of these biotech companies, which automatically spreads out your risk. The most important thing is to view this as a very long-term, very speculative part of a well-balanced portfolio. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme.
And of course, I have to state this clearly, all of this information is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice, and it's not tax advice. Please do your own research and always consult with a professional. Okay, with those very real risks understood, let's pull back and look at the big picture again. What does all of this really mean for the future of our health and maybe even for humanity itself?
This quote, I think, just captures the essence of this whole investment thesis perfectly. We are living in this unique moment in history where our capital, our investments, are directly funding the science that could fundamentally change what it means to be human. The financial opportunity here is really just a direct reflection of the incredible human potential that's being unlocked. So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. As all this science moves from theory to reality, would you take an anti-aging pill? It's a question that's quickly moving from the realm of science fiction to a potential reality in our lifetimes. Please subscribe, like, and share ValueVest Daily for daily learning opportunities before you put your money to work. And one more thing, please put in a comment if you want us to deep dive into any specific high-risk/reward opportunities. Thanks for watching.